Hey guys, Brendan and Turkey Tim here to tell you what we're thankful for this November. And what we're thankful for is kind goods. That's right, kind goods. We're thankful for the lovely staff. We're thankful for the bright and welcoming locations. We're thankful for the community interaction. And most of all, we're thankful for the high fidelity house of brands with good taste edibles, pinpoint extracts, and daybreak flower. You can't ask for more than that. But you get it at Kind Goods because you get service with a smile. You get some of the most knowledgeable staff in the industry. Gosh darn it, you just get a good experience and a good vibe in a warm, welcoming atmosphere. So this November, while you're giving thanks, hit up Kind Goods.
Never did. Fuck off.
Hey, welcome to Greenway Audio Magazine, man.
Hey, Brandon.
For those that don't know, Tim and I were just talking about spending time in Kansas City, and
Yeah.
one of our favorite places.
Oh yeah, dude, love it.
So we're doing double duty today.
We are.
There's a bunch of stuff going on recently. I thought we might dive in, especially with our guest today. I thought we might dive in a little bit into the hemp thing because one of the things that I find really interesting is that a lot of the manufactured brands we've seen over the last few years that have been popular in Missouri and abroad, Keef, Wana, 1906, Wink, there's all these products that have been Missouri marijuana or medical marijuana products, and some of them have pulled out. Some of them have had to change their packaging or have dropped certain formulations because they've been successful as hemp brands. As of last night, President Trump signed the bill that gets government back in order, but in that bill, it limits THC production for hemp products. And on top of total THC, which was originally in the Farm Bill, one of the other things it does is it makes it so that the total amount of THC in a hemp product is 0.4 milligrams per container.
Oh, okay.
So less than 1/2 of 1 milligram, not per dose, but per container. And so it effectively eliminates intoxicating hemp products across the board in any place that doesn't already have or does not, in the next 364 days, carve out a space for hemp. Any intoxicating hemp product. Yeah, any intoxicating hemp product will no longer be federally legal. And if you don't have state regulations that say that it's legal, it defaults to federal regulation, same way as marijuana.
Yeah. Okay.
So technically, states who already have programs can continue to abide by them. If a state like Missouri were to, have a hemp program introduced in the next 364 days, or I guess, marijuana was federally illegal before we introduced it. It just, there's not a whole lot of push back against regulation once it's already established a lot of times. But what I'm looking at is how many of those brands and products that we've lost in Missouri or other states are we now going to get back in the marijuana industry?
Oh, wow. I didn't think of that.
Because they're not going to be able to distribute nationwide the way that they were before. And they're actively going to have to start scaling back their production, for a company like Keef or Wana that has built a facility that's distributing nationwide right now. There's going to be ramifications about, state to state distribution. If it's federally illegal.
Oh my gosh.
If your facility is in Missouri and Kansas doesn't have any laws about it, you technically can't transport it from Missouri to Kansas. And so it's going to be really interesting. I think one of the big things that is going to happen is we're going to see a return of a lot of brands that had gone out and created beverage brands and things like that. I think we're going to see
a lot of those return to the marijuana spaces.
Yeah.
And for companies like Stash House that, you know, their business model is built on brand partnerships.
Yes.
I think we'll see new brands come in that were established and have built out brands and facilities and have equipment and stuff like that. And now they have to find a partner to be able to continue producing products in certain states and regions and things like that. So I think we'll see an influx over the next couple of years of more manufactured brands, not just in Missouri, but in other states as well.
That's interesting. That's a great point. God, that's why you're so smart. Because it was interesting when Wink left the cannabis market, I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. They're going to be in, what is it, wine and cheese or whatever, or Total
Wine and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I know just recently, Target, I know they're based out of Minnesota. They started doing a couple trials of selling hemp beverages in their Targets. And then 2 weeks ago, Circle K was like, hey, we're done with hemp beverages now. And then boom. So that's got to be rough. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Wink comes back and is like, hey guys, just kidding.
Hemp
weed side.
Hemp beverages.
They got to do something.
I mean, you've built, you know, these products and brands and everything else.
Man.
But 364 days before it's completely enacted. It was signed last night, so 364 days. But in that time, there can be some adjustments and you know, there may be some things worked out along the way, but I don't think we're going to see, you know, the huge intoxicating hemp market that we saw since, you know, 2020, 2021 really exploded. But even going back to 2018, 2019, whenever it was first, you know, legalized, we started to see the shift more pandemic in 2021. I don't think we're going to see probably ever, outside of certain state markets that may allow it, I don't think we'll ever see another 5,000 milligram single dose gummy from a hemp perspective.
Right.
Which sounds crazy, but
no, it's out there.
I saw one the other day and I was like, holy cow. Like the amount of unprepared that the average person would be for that. But goodness. So I've always been pretty straightforward about my opinions on hemp and that I'm a supporter of the hemp industry and stuff like that. I think it's a bummer that you know, the industry couldn't find kind of a even ground and a steady regulation point, because I do think that, kind of in the same way that we have alcohol and stuff like that, I think that, you know, a 5 milligram or 2.5 milligram beverage is different than, you know, a 5,000 milligram gummy.
Bingo.
And the problem that we've seen in the marijuana market, whenever you look at states like Oklahoma and Michigan and California, is that a lot of times whenever we leave regulation to ourselves and we try and self-police and stuff like that, you have some exceptional actors and some exceptional companies. You have some great leadership and stuff like that. However, one bad actor is all it takes to really tarnish the reputation of an entire industry.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate reality of situations like what we have in Missouri. Is we've had, you know, 3 years since Department of Agriculture announced that they were going to no longer administrate hemp rules in Missouri. We've had 3 cycles where both the hemp industry and MoCan have introduced MoCan Trade have introduced different pieces of legislation to try and really do the bare minimum. Create age gates,
Yeah.
create, testing regulations,
Yeah.
make it so that it's a safe product. And had any of that happened, Missouri would be a state that is at least somewhat insulated
Right.
and would still be able to produce a hemp market.
Right.
So now we have to look forward and see, if there's any desire from legislators to really go against, I mean, Missouri is a super red state right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody going to want to go against the president, the Senate, and the House to carve out new rules for something whenever we've been unsuccessful in 3 years prior to this in creating
Mm-hmm.
any kind of rules that
Right.
everybody could get behind? So
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's tough because, like you said, there are some reputable brands, there are some reputable stores. I mean, there's a difference between going to Yenology in Frontenac and buying some like really good high-end hemp drinks from a reputable company. There's a difference between that and going to 7-Eleven and buying Johnny's, hemp distillate that he made in his bathtub. There's a
now
huge
I will
difference.
say I don't think Yenology, and I might be wrong. I haven't been there since they first opened,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't believe they sold any intoxicating THC products there. I think it
No,
was
just
mostly
hemp-derived
CBD,
drinks.
CBG, and
Yep.
stuff like that. Those, as long as it doesn't have intoxicating hemp in it, as long as it's not THC or
Okay.
the threshold of THC
They're okay?
is, yeah, all
Okay.
your CBD, all your CBG, everything like that, as long as it's not a psychoactive,
So it can be
or over the
hemp-derived.
100%. Yeah,
Just
like
not
we're not.
to the level. Okay.
It's not erasing the hemp industry, it's erasing the intoxicating hemp industry.
Okay. Got it. Closing that
And
little
so,
loophole. Yeah. Got it.
yeah, and so as far as CBD, CBG, things like that, companies are still going to have the ability to produce all of their therapeutic lines that are non-psychoactive or non-intoxicating.
I can still get my
Now
hippie hounds
I
for my doggies.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we can keep going down this, but what I'd like to do is take a short break
Yeah.
and talk about a non hemp gummy right now. And let's hear from the mouth of the Silver Fox himself about Curio real quick.
Fall is calling, and so are apple spice chews from Curio Wellness. These fan favorite chews are back for a limited time, blending that crisp, juicy apple flavor with just the right kick of warm spice. They're basically autumn in an edible. Whether you're apple picking, peeping at some leaves, or just posted up on the couch in your hoodie with a football game on, that's what I'm talking about. Apple Spice Chews bring the flavor and the fun to every fall moment. And this year, Curio's got something new. Get ready, baby. The 1,000 milligram pack. That's 25 chews at 40 milligrams each. So plenty to keep the fall vibes going. Curio Wellness's 1,000 milligram apple spice chew pack, now for a limited time. Welcome back to Greenway Audio Magazine. I am Tim. With me is Brandon. And today we have the Stash House crew, Chris Geisert, Evan Hardebeck. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We have so much to learn about Stash House. We've been seeing you guys everywhere, but I'd love to get into the brands that you have going, the products you have going, and what it's looking like for the end of 2025 and into 2026.
Sure.
So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for
Thanks
having
for
us on. Appreciate it. Yeah. So we started in 22 with our build out, made our first delivery in September of 22. So we've been in the industry a little while now. Obviously weren't the first folks on the scene. But Stash House started in Oklahoma, manufacturing for a number of different brands. And then we expanded into Missouri with a group of local Missouri investors and partnered with them to bring those national brands that Missouri cannabis enthusiasts know and love, and make those here in Missouri and distribute them. Brands like 1906, Chiba Chews, Green Hornet, Kiva, Major, Packs. We make our own house brands of juice and strain vapes, drool products that are topicals, as well as concentrates and pre-roll product. So, we manufacture for about 12 different brands, 120 different SKUs. We're constantly bringing new products to the market, but it's really where we've decided to focus is on that manufacturing piece. We don't grow, we don't extract, we don't have retail. We really just want to be that strong sales and distribution arm for a number of brands from across the country. So,
yeah, you're a stash house.
We are a stash house of brands. You're exactly right. Hopefully, we can be, not necessarily a one-stop shop, but a place that dispensaries, as they're looking to restock their shelves, can go to for a number of the top brands in the space. 1906 is one of the top fills. Chiba is a very well-known taffy. We've got a new product that's coming out called Joyables, which is a soft candy center with a hard candy shell. That is a really fun low-dose product that comes in a mixed bag of 40 pieces that are each 2.5 milligrams. So you can eat them like candy.
There you go.
Candy, if you will.
Yeah.
So, and enjoy them.
Actually eat them like candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Chris, I noticed this last night. I was going through like the headset data of the top 5 of everything. I always compare the previous month to this month. And I was looking at October to November, and I was like, number 4 in topical rankings. I was like, who's Drool?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, that's Stash House. Like, did you just enter the market and now you're in the top 5? Like, that's amazing.
We've been in it for a while, I feel like, but our topic.
I mean, Drool.
No, Drool's been made for a little bit, but
really? Okay.
Yeah, but we've started expanding, right? So there was always the one soothe stick, and now we've got a recovery stick, and we have another one coming. And so mixing
it's a stick, like a roll-on.
Yeah, it's like a deodorant stick, right? It's sticky. Here. It doesn't have a horrible canna smell or even a Bengay smell.
Nice.
You can just rub it on there, and I'm always taken back by how well folks, they love it. If you use it, you absolutely love it. It works on sore joints. We've had folks that get migraines that use it. They'll rub it on their temple, and it helps with migraines. It works differently for different folks. But almost everyone
totally works if you just lick it like a lollipop too.
I don't know that we recommend that, but sure, you can try it. Yeah. Different strokes for different folks.
It's interesting being in cannabis for so long and, enjoying certain products. I am now I'm right with you. I'm the stick. I'm the roll-on stick guy now.
Yeah.
I'm constantly.
Well, and as, I don't know about you guys are all younger, but as I get older, those aches and pains just kind of creep in. And so it's either a wrist or an elbow or a knee or something.
Elbow. Dude. Yes. 100%. It's so funny. I switched immediately to topicals like about a year ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, what can I rub in? Just Mary's Medicinals. I got a Curio roll on. I'm constantly like putting stuff on my body to feel better.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Love it.
It definitely helps a lot of folks. It's kind of an overlooked area. Like you said, if you don't look at that category.
Very much so.
You don't think about it, or you don't think like, topical. What's that going to do for me? It really
exactly.
Does.
Yeah. It's huge. And I know the past few Mocans, including this one next week, is another return to wellness, is another, conversation of getting more, back into stuff like this, the caplets, the topicals, the roll-ons, that type of stuff that actually have a lot of medicinal value that can benefit the older community. Right. That is, that maybe has never tried it and didn't know that you can, there is a roll on
Yeah,
that can
and
help
I'm
with
sure
your
a lot of other brands
pickleball.
are seeing this, but we're seeing it as well. You kind of alluded to it
Yeah.
there in that the older community, right? The folks that enjoyed cannabis in the 60s and 70s are now coming back to it, but they're coming back to it in a
Yep.
different way. I mean, they still may enjoy a
Yep.
smoke every now and then, but they're looking more for that medicinal angle. They're looking for the topicals. They're looking for the RSO. They're looking for low dose, mother's little helper to get you through the day kind of thing, where
Mhm.
I think we're seeing brands like 1906 and like our Drool RSO and Drool topicals that are really solving problems. I mean, Chiba has a campaign right now that, they're running some special offers where, you buy one for you, but then you also buy one for your parent. Because your parent can
Yeah.
really
Love it.
enjoy the joint relief or the sleep
Yeah.
aid, or they kind of pick me up with the THCV, and so it's kind of growing up out of that typical gummy and the maturing of the market that I think we're rapidly seeing across the
Yeah.
state.
That's interesting. I work for Curio Wellness, and so I've been talking to a lot of the older community.
Yeah.
Kind of learning more about what they what their knowledge or lack of knowledge of cannabis is. And it's funny that you brought up the Chiba Chews thing, because a majority of the people I've talked to have said, I'll say, have you ever tried cannabis and that kind of stuff? And they'll say, my son or daughter or my grandson gave me a gummy.
Yeah.
Like that's how they're realizing, and it helped me sleep, and it helped, this, and it helped that. And that was their either introduction or reintroduction to cannabis, was through a family member.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If
that's
they don't
very
have that
interesting.
trusted
The
bud
Chiba
tender,
Chew.
right? If they don't have that trusted bud tender, and then it's a trusted family member that will educate
Yeah.
them on it, or kind of give them that permission to try it.
Yeah.
And say, okay, my grandson says this is okay, or my son says this is okay.
Yep.
And he's not messed up, so maybe it won't mess me
Yep.
up. And they try it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you brought up Curio. We toured their facility last week. Amazing team down there, amazing facility. So kudos to you guys for that. Very cool stuff that they're
Was it
doing.
Taylor took you around,
Yeah.
didn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, she
No,
did.
met with Taylor. So it's
Yeah,
very
she was
cool.
telling me.
But yeah, we're
Yeah.
seeing that a lot, that people, even if you're offering a gummy or whatever format you're offering, they want some kind of wellness component to it, right? There's a reason I'm
Yeah.
taking this, right? I'm not taking this to sit on the couch and stare at the wall. I want to be functional in
Right.
my daily life, or I want to be able to
Mhm.
sleep better, or I've got an ache or a pain that I want to fix. And so
Yep.
there's definitely this wellness aspect, or definitely this functional aspect that people are using cannabis for.
Mhm.
1906 has a great line of products that kind of take you through the day part, the go in the morning, and Genius during the day to help you focus, and chill after work, and
Mhm.
sleep at the end of your day. And so more and more brands, I think, are going to that model of not just offering a gummy or something to, quote, get you high. I mean, there's definitely that
Yeah.
component of it, but they want to be tied to functionality.
Absolutely. I had a conversation with an older gentleman, and he, I asked him about cannabis, and he's like, listen, will it help me be able to swing a golf club and not be in extreme pain? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure that there are things that can help that. And he's like, I'm on board. Tell me what to get. So a lot of people in that stage of their life, they just want relief. And at this point, they're like, just tell me where to get it, what it is, educate me a little bit, and just show me where I need to go get it. It's literally, those are the conversations we're having. So Evan, like on the marketing and branding side, are you having conversations outside of retail, like just to consumers, where, they're having similar issues, where like, what do I do for sleep? What do I do for pain in my knee? Can cannabis help at all? Like, have you had conversations with people similar
Yeah,
with
I've had
that?
lots of those conversations. And yeah, people are really looking for guidance. And one thing I try to tell people is that it takes a lot of experimentation to find what really works for you. So it helps to get opinions from people that you know and trust. But also everybody's body is different. So you want to make sure that that you're starting slow and low, and but that you're also experimenting a bit. Different methods of ingestion, different cannabinoids, depending on what your specific ailment is or what you're trying to solve. There's different options. And also, some people just want to get high, and that's cool too. But you can also find a balance in between that, like, oh, well, I want to get high, but I need a little energy, or I need something to bring me down at the end of the day. So I think that's kind of where we see a lot of the gummies now leaning towards the minor cannabinoids. Because just having THC by itself, while it can be effective for a lot of things, you're missing out on a lot of the other components of the plant that really help to build the general effects and kind of the body of the high and the usefulness of the medical side of it.
And just to tag team on that, I think it's a lot of what our reps do out in the field is education, whether it's educating budtenders or educating consumers, and giving them as much knowledge as possible about the products and why they're formulated the way they are. And then to Evan's point, it's about, it's not traditional medicine, right? You go to the doctor, they give you a prescription, you take a pill, and that's supposed to solve all your problems. And they'll tell you that it will. With cannabis, you have to know your body. You have to keep notes on how is this affecting me and how is this benefiting me or not benefiting me, and what do I need to do differently? Because there's not that quote prescribed roadmap. Now, I don't know that those pills always work the way they think they're going to work, but they tell you this is exactly how they're going to work. And so it takes a little more effort, right? As the consumer, you've got to do that on your own. But I think it's beneficial. And I see a lot of folks out there chasing THC only numbers. And as Evan alluded, those minors, the terpenes, all of that go in to make that solution. And so you've got to look at those other things. I've seen a lot of folks that'll try an infused pre-roll that's 18% or something that they think is really low, and they'll take a step back and they're like, wow, that was super effective. And it's because of the other terpenes that are involved and the other cannabinoids that are involved, and that entourage effect, instead of something that is stripped down to just really high THC and doesn't have anything else. So, yeah, it's a lot of education and adaptation, and people kind of maturing how they look at cannabis, whether recreationally or medicinally.
I think one of the things that you guys have touched on in different facets of the same conversation so far is that as a house of brands, you guys have the ability to serve all the different parts of the cannabis community, whether it's your regular consumer, whether it's a connoisseur, whether it's somebody trying a product for the first time or getting back into it, and that you have kind of a brand to match any attitude or any need. And I think that with what we've seen as far as the push for rescheduling to Schedule 3, as well as now the change in the language of hemp and how that's going to change the cannabis market as a whole, outside of marijuana and hemp. The new intoxicating hemp rules are going to create whole new dynamics. One of the things that I observe for companies like Stash House is that you guys are a little more forward thinking and a little more prepared for the change in the market and the fluctuating market dynamics, because as we move towards Schedule 3, there's a very real possibility that federal regulation is going to restrict flower and vapor at least somewhat, if not completely. Having a company that's built on the back of gummies and topicals and infusibles and different types of products and different delivery methods, that you haven't stuck your entire claim on making 34% THC flower, I think that is going to be something that we see more of over the next few years, and probably over the next 364 days specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there's going to be a larger push for preparation of products and more lab created products, because at the end of the day, dosing directions for flower are pretty hard. Dosing directions for 1906, for Chiba Chews, Crumble, those are pretty standardized doses, and it's pretty easy and clear and easily definable. And so I think that the push from outside, as far as people trying to find products that have therapeutic and medicinal benefits, kind of meets where we've seen the direction of regulation reform heading towards Schedule 3. I don't think we're going to see full legalization in the next 5 years, but it's a very real possibility that we see rescheduling in the next 5 years. And with that is going to come FDA regulation. It's going to come with ISO certification and lab requirements and things like that.
CGMP.
And while we'll and while we'll still be growing, flower to produce products, there's going to be a question about what happens once the flower is produced. And I think companies like Stashhouse and Curio, with the development of your products and things like that, the gastrointestinal stuff, but anybody who's creating therapeutic products or products that have standardized dosing and are easily relatable is going to have an advantage whenever it comes to rescheduling.
I hope so. I hope so. And I think you're right in that, we're building brands. So we're not just selling 34% THC. While we sell to dispensary buyers and we're on the wholesale side and selling B2B, we still talk a lot to consumers. We still market to consumers. We drive consumers to our dispensary partners to say, if you liked this product when you tried it, when your son or nephew or whoever gave you that Chiba Chew or 1906 drop, here's the great stores that you can find that, or where you can find that. And so, I hope you're right. It's obviously where we've tried to build our expertise and select the brands that we feel like share the same ethos as us, have that same brand experience. A lot of people will come up to us at an event and go, "Oh man, I tried Chiba Chews 10 years ago when I was in Colorado," and they still remember that experience, right? So when we talk to the Chiba folks, they're always like, everybody has their Chiba story. The first time they tried Chiba Chews. And so, we try and partner with brands that get that are not afraid and are active in the market and that are marketing, and that have a quality product, right? We want our folks, whenever we're talking to a dispensary, to be able to say, I've got one of the best products. What category are you looking at? Because whether it's Drool Topicals, or whether it's 1906 pills, or Chiba Chew taffy, or packs, vapes, and pre-rolls, or Kiva, Camino gummies, whatever, we have a top performing brand in almost every category. And so how can we help you, right? And how can we partner together to drive more folks into your dispensary? So
one of the things that you talked about earlier was your launch in Missouri in 2022. I think I'm right, but I might be wrong. Was Missouri the second market that Stash House came into? So it was Oklahoma and then Missouri.
Yeah, so they were in Oklahoma only, right? And there was a group of Kansas City area folks that all got together. We secured the license and then partnered with Stash House. They were looking to expand to Missouri. We were looking for a good partner. So that one is a partnership. Now, since then, Stash House has expanded into New Mexico, Mississippi, New Jersey, several other states. So, Missouri was the kind of that first foray outside of Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, they manufacture probably 30 different brands. And so what we tried to do is pick the ones that we felt like would perform the best, and kind of the cream of the crop, if you will.
You guys have done a phenomenal job of brand carrying and of being able to take to your point, and maybe I know Evan does some sales, so maybe he can elaborate a little bit on this, but it seems like whenever you say we have something to offer everybody, you can go to a dispensary partner and say, you know, we have a house of brands that every one of these products is going to appeal to one or more of your consumers. I love that. I know there's a couple other companies in the state that have had similar business models. Um, it seems like you guys have had a lot of success with your partnerships, and with the longevity of the partners that you've chosen, and you haven't had a lot of drop off or revision to your brand partners along the way. You've picked up some more.
Yeah.
But if I'm wrong, I don't unless I'm wrong, rather, I don't believe you've had anyone actually drop off of your roster.
Yep. And we've had 2 that left our roster that was both mutual, that Missouri didn't seem to be a fit for them or us. But you're absolutely right. Chiba has been a partner of ours for several years, started in Oklahoma, and we've taken Chiba to several states. So a lot of those relationships are long-standing. We don't add brands lightly. We don't add a lot at one time. We're not trying to sign every brand we can find. We meet with a lot of brands and try and find brands that are a good fit for both of us. Do they need sales and distribution? Do they have their own sales team? What are their brand goals? What are the attributes of their products? We're not going to go add 7 or 8 gummies just to add 7 or 8 gummy brands. We don't feel like we need that. And I don't feel like the market needs that. So that's where we focus. You're absolutely right. We do nurture those brand relationships. And it's got to be a partnership. We sit down at the end of the day and go, there's going to be give and take. And as long as partners can communicate, it's not that everything is always 100% smooth. It's not, right? But how do we handle those times when it's not? And I think for the most part, we do a good job of sitting down and having those frank conversations with folks and go, okay, you're our partner, good, bad, or otherwise. How are we going to both get to the next level? And usually that's working together. And when you talk through it and you have the same goals, then those relationships last a long time.
You say it's not always going to be easy. You guys, because you have to source material from other places, have been caught up in a few difficult positions before.
Absolutely.
Through really no fault of your own.
Right.
You and I have had pretty candid conversations about this. One thing I'd like to touch on about that is that changed the way you guys did business and the way that you went about your partnerships and things like that. Can you kind of explain and elaborate on what changed from 2022 to now as far as how you vet your partners and the extra steps you've taken to ensure that you guys are insulated?
Yeah. And that partner, good, bad, or otherwise, I understand, I guess, why they were doing what they were doing, but I don't think it's what any of us thought they were doing. Now we have a much more rigorous vetting process. We do ask for attestations that whatever we're buying from you, whether it be flower or distillate or minors, where did it come from? Where was it grown? How was it extracted? And you need to attest to all of that. And subsequently, we've really narrowed the number of folks that we buy inputs from. We have strategically not gotten in the business of growing or extracting. I'd much rather be a good business or industry supporter, buy from growers, buy from extractors, but it's going to be a very narrow group of folks that we talk to about that. We want to support multiple folks. I think it's healthy for the industry. It's healthy for the business in the state. I think when these people get locked up in one-to-one reciprocal relationships and that's all that they're going to buy or sell, I think it narrows consumer choice. And I don't know that it's healthy. So I think we need to vary who we purchase things from, but we need to be careful when we do that, right? And we need to take as many safeguards as we can. And for us, that's written attestations as to all those questions that we or the state may ever have about a product. Is it 100% foolproof? Probably not. Anybody can write or sign or say whatever, but at least we've tried to take that step and tried to mitigate that piece of risk. So that's the biggest thing that we do now, right? Limit who we're working with, tour those facilities, talk to those folks, and get that attestation. Right.
It's gotta feel
Good.
It's gotta feel good though, going into maybe a meeting with a new retail account or somebody, and having literally, you open up your jacket and you have a whole library of just about anything someone's looking for. A lot of brands go in and they're like, hey, we're a vape brand. Yeah, we don't like vapes. Okay, bye. You guys are like, oh, well, if you don't, we have this and this and this and this and this and this. So it's gotta be great going into these meetings, knowing that you can probably leave connecting some of your brands to the needs of that retail place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, you certainly hope so. And Evan, I'm going to say you can probably comment on that better than I can. He's been out there selling before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we have a huge book of brands, and there's not a lot of overlap. We try to make sure that things are distinct. We feel like dispensaries could carry our full line and not have much overlap in competing brands within that. But, I understand that that's not going to happen in all cases or in most cases. But we do have something for everybody. I mean, we've got something for each niche in a dispensary. And sometimes that stuff is really different than what else is out on the market. Whether that just be like Chiba Chews with the taffy and the branding behind it, or Major, the 100 milligram shots.
I was just going to say, we haven't talked about Major yet, and Major is a unique product that folks absolutely love. And those are, there's probably less medicinal aspect to that and more of the, hey, I want to get higher, or, I want to be able to dose that and have it hit me quickly. And that's a great product for that. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah. And you're talking, 100 milligrams for $16. I think that's medicinal. Because you've got a lot of high dose people that need something like that. And having something that's fast acting, high dose, is really good for those medicinal customers. That like RSO doesn't taste great. Major shots taste great.
It also has the added benefit of not being, a ton of candy. In order to get to 100 milligrams as an edible or something like that, you're not inhaling it, you're not doing anything. It's still an ingestible, but it's not just a ton of candy. It's quick, easy, and a drink, and you're ready for whatever you're going to do with your 100 milligrams. For me, it would be sleep for 24 hours. But for old road dogs like Tim, that's just popping a flight on the PJ out to the East Coast.
No way. We didn't even talk about Kiva chocolates. I mean, and that's a whole different.
Yeah, we don't make
that's a whole niche right there.
Chocolates yet, but Kiva's gummies, they've got a live rosin and resin gummies, Lost Farm, and then they've got their regular Camino sours, low dose and high dose. So I mean, Camino is another phenomenal product.
I love Camino
quality gummies.
Love it.
Yeah.
And it's great to see the push towards live rosin.
Agree.
I used to have to search for it.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, this company makes them? Oh, cool. So Camino. I mean, like I love that those are more available these days.
Well, and the Lost Farm, I mean, they're strain specific as well. So it's not just a live resin gummy, but it's a strain specific. So if you've got a strain that you like, you can go find that strain in a gummy form if you don't want to smoke, to your point, or if you don't want to vape or whatever.
And they're all intentionally paired with the fruit flavors of the gummy. So the live rosin, the live resin that are used in them being single source, and then the flavors matched to hit that flavor just right. And they really just came out phenomenal taste wise.
No, they're.
I wish I had a package. I wish I had the package with me, but the first one I had was the bright pink package. I don't know, like 6 or 8 months ago. That was such a. I'm not a big weed gummy person. Like I generally don't like live resin or live rosin because it tastes too weedy.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that you guys have made that to where the weed taste, the cannabis taste blends with the fruit taste to where it's earthy and fruity instead of just tasting like, hot ash with sugar on it.
Yeah.
I'm man, it's real. You've had some shitty live rosin gummies or something before that just tasted like somebody put their joint out and like tossed it in with some sugar and shit like that.
And our partners are great about that, right? I mean, they treat it like a sommelier. To Evan's point, they try that gummy with no flavoring, no color. They'll make that gummy and they'll try it and they're like, triple burger feels like it should go with our dragon fruit, and they'll pull in that dragon fruit flavor and they'll formulate that gummy. And you're like, wow, the triple burger really works with dragon fruit, or Bubba Fett really works with, wild cherry or whatever. And so, it's great that you notice that. And I think that's the little things that people may not notice or see that go on a high quality product like, their Lost Farm product.
Evan, one thing I wanted to ask, because Tim and I are both big brand geeks, and you're a marketing guy as much or more than you're a sales guy. What is it like to have, this entire house of brands with different personalities, different target demographics, different ethos, different vibes from brand to brand? 1906 is not the same as PAX. And Green Hornet is not the same as, Crumble. So is it easy to do your job, or is it harder because you're trying to balance, personalities? To me, it would, I feel like I would be, like the multiple personalities, like Sybil or something, like trying to go in and represent all these different brands at the same time.
Yeah. How many tabs do you have open in your browser? I mean, that are like going to a brand guideline page of one of your brands.
Yeah, go ahead, Evan.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned brand guidelines, because that's pretty important. Every brand kind of has their own vision of how they want to be seen in the market and how they want their products to be portrayed. So you've really got to try to stick with that sort of stuff. Try to make sure that it is their vision. Some of the brands are more hands-on and really want to be there in the design process for their advertisements and things like that. Or really want to be consulted on every move that's made. Others aren't as nearly as in-depth. So it's kind of a case-by-case basis on how each brand wants their product to be displayed out in the market and how they want it to be pitched and sold to people. So it can be a little bit to keep track of. But luckily I spent a long time in a sales role with these brands. So I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the vibes around them.
Yeah. Evan does a great job of wearing multiple hats. And I think, we were joking a little bit about the helmets that we have. Just when you're working on a brand, you got to put that hat on and start thinking that way, right? When you're making Crumble ads or something like that, you got to think, what would a hip tattooed Betty Crocker look like, and what would she do, and how would she think, and how would she talk to these consumers, right? Yeah. And so, yeah, Evan does a great job at that, and the brands do a great job supporting us from look and feel and things like that. I'm in manufacturing now. I'm an old marketer, and I was all about branding. And regardless of what brand I was working on, you had to stay true to that, from a color, a look, a feel, a voice. And so we really do try and do that for all of our brands.
Date, marry, kill. all of your brands. No, I'm just kidding. That'll get you in trouble quick.
Not going there.
So what should we be looking forward to? Coming up towards the end of the year to Q1.
Yeah.
What is Stash House got? What's some surprises up the sleeve? What
We're going to continue to push the envelope and bring new products to market. Next week at MoCan, you'll see Joyables, which is that soft candy center with the hard candy shell, a variety pack of candy. There's 3 different SKUs, 4 flavors in each bag, 2.5 milligrams, 40 pieces. So it's still that 100 milligram bag, but there's 40 pieces in there that you can eat. It'll be a super familiar format that I think people are really going to be excited about. After that, we've got another gummy coming to market. And I know everybody says, oh man, another gummy. This one is also medicinal mushroom infused. So it's very much a wellness product. And so there's lion's mane, turkey tail, coreopsis, different roots. And so it's a very holistic product in a gummy form. But every one of the SKUs has a wellness aspect to it. I just happen to have, one here, but, active, sleep, meditate, focus. So there's different reasons for each one of those gummies. And then we'll continue
excited for that.
We'll continue to talk to folks in other states across the industry, either developing our own brands or finding brands that we think Missourians will like and introduce those to the market. So, yeah.
Do you think that with the changes to intoxicating hemp regulations that you guys will be possibly looking at taking on partners that may have to make changes to their business models now and find new solutions or new states to enter?
I don't know. I think that remains to be seen. We talk and work with a lot of brands. A lot of the brands we work with make hemp-derived products as well and sell those in other states. Our kind of request of them is that they don't ship those into Missouri right now. And I'll be interested to see how does that affect the industry. Do people that currently order those hemp-derived products, if they can't get them, do they go to dispensaries or do they go to the black market? And how is that going to affect all of us? Hemp-derived products may have a space, but like I hope everybody on here, I just like to see them regulated like everybody else and pull them into the DCR and treat them like a regular cannabis product. That's all I'd really ask of those. So I
think if you're looking at the brands that are playing in both worlds, because there are a handful of those that they have both sides of the business. I think that, if this all does come to pass with the intoxicating cannabinoids being banned, there will hopefully be a renewed focus in the markets that there are on the recreational cannabis side. So, just as somebody that's working with brands and stuff like that, that's something that, I look forward to. I think that'll be good for our general Missouri cannabis market.
Sure hope so. Yeah, agree.
Well, Evan and Chris, we really appreciate you joining us today. We learned a ton, and I really got schooled on your whole brand library. I honestly didn't know it was that big until I started digging in last night. I'm like, oh, they have that? They have cheap. Oh my God, they have crumble. It was awesome. So being able to dive in there and learn more about how you guys are working and who you're working with has been very insightful. So thank you both for joining us.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Always great chatting, folks.
Absolutely.
As Tim famously said, this is a passion project, and we only interview and talk to people that we want to take the time to. So we appreciate you guys joining us because I'm a big fan of 90% of your products. I won't claim to know everything, but I don't think I've had Drool products before. But pretty much everything else on the roster, I've tried and enjoyed at one point or another. I I've just been a big fan of you guys and the way that you guys have handled business. And I appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us. So thank you guys so much and look forward to talking to you again soon.